Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been some time, please don't crucify me, but a lot has been going on. So around the Christmas period, I had a conversation with my cousins about how the Christmas period is a time for you to be body shamed by family members and critiqued for not having children or a husband by a certain age. And it had us listing all of the toxic things that we normalize within the African culture, because if you haven't guessed, I am African, which inspired me to make this video. Now, I understand that the things that I list in this video are not just exclusive to the African culture, nor will they be considered toxic to everyone. However, these are the things that I've observed over the years and have just decided that I won't be repeating them with my own children, hopefully, fingers crossed. Now, with no further ado, here are a list of toxic things that we normalize within the African culture. Number 1. Forcing your children to pursue career paths just so you have something to brag about with the other aunties. I'm not saying that all African parents do this, but within the African culture, the notion of being proud is heavily pushed, which means that you brag about your achievements publicly and then your misfortunes, you keep them private. Growing up, a lot of us can recall hearing the aunties brag about how much their son is a lawyer/doctor, because it's always the sons, not the daughters, and I'll get to that later. I would say that this is deeply rooted in cultural expectations, and I also think that factors like family reputation play a role in this as well. For many of us who grew up African, your success was not only a reflection of yourself but your entire family, which probably explains why our parents felt compelled to pressure us into pursuing lucrative career paths that are perceived to be socially acceptable. This is why professions like being a doctor or a lawyer are highly respected, because of their perceived knowledge. Now, if you are a doctor or a lawyer, this should be celebrated, but then it puts pressure on those of us who don't see ourselves being lawyers or doctors. Moreover, I feel like opportunity somewhat plays a role into this. Now, when our parents first came over to this country, they didn't have much options. Their main priority was financial stability and security, which means that they chose professions that were high earning and well compensated rather than career paths that involved personal fulfillment. I say this to say, stop forcing your children to pursue career paths so that they have to live up to these at times impossible cultural expectations. Times have changed. Some of us want to do hair, acting, singing, dancing and fashion. I remember Nella Rose, Annie Drea and Adiola making a video touching on the same topic, and I can recall, I think, Annie Drea essentially saying, believe in your kids, because when they eventually start earning an income as a result of their hard work, you guys will be the first ones asking for the money, which is so true. Number 2, the favoritism that's typically displayed towards the sons. Now, this is just a personal observation that I'm sure many of us can attest to, especially if you are a girl. In many African cultures, there's this preference for the boys. Men are often in charge of the continuity of the family lineage, the passing down of property, inheritance, and wealth, and so forth. The men of the family are often seen as the ones who will carry on the family name, traditions, and growing up, I personally felt like my male cousins would often partake in behaviours that would lead to ostracisation if done by the woman. One of the primary reasons why, men may sometimes get away with things that the woman couldn't is due to gender norms. In many cultures, there's this traditional belief about how women and men should behave. For example, I feel like boys are given more leeway to engage in risky behaviors for the most part, whilst the women are expected to be more obedient and subservient, and this can influence how parents respond to the actions of, their boy/girl children. I feel like because of this boys will be boys mindset is why culturally it's acceptable for African men to cheat. Now, I'm not saying all of them cheat, but it is common to hear stories of one uncle who has cheated on his wife and fathered a child somewhere else. The aunties won't hold their sons accountable. The men most definitely won't. In fact, they teach their sons that it's okay to partake in this type of behavior. And whilst they might not actively overtly tell their sons go out and cheat, children see everything. So if they're seeing their fathers recklessly cheat on their mothers, they too will start to think it's okay to cheat on their wives. And you as an African girl are just expected to stick by his side, because there's nothing more embarrassing than a woman who decides to leave her marriage because she's being disrespected. I know staying after infidelity is a personal choice, and this isn't me man bashing, but again, this is just something I've noticed growing up. Number 3, critiquing female family members who have not had children yet or haven't gotten married by a certain age. In the African culture, there's often a societal expectation that women should have children and be married by a certain age, and if this isn't fulfilled, then this can lead to criticism and judgment towards women who choose not to conform to this tradition. In African societies, family, marriage, and motherhood are often seen as an essential aspect of a woman's identity. Women are expected to bear children in order to continue the family name and lineage. The idea that a woman's primary role in life is to be a wife and a mother is deeply ingrained in many African cultures, and failure to do so can result in scrutiny from family members, friends, even strangers, those that don't even know you, who feel as though they have enough jurisdiction to question you on your life choices. Take child-free women. The hate that they receive is horrendous. This can be due to the misconception that a lot of us have about child-free women, which is that they're selfish, hate children, or are incapable of forming meaningful relationships. Again, African women are expected to marry and have children, and those who deviate from this tradition are seen as reckless or are trying to rebel. Why can't it just be seen as a woman who just hasn't yet achieved that milestone, or she just doesn't want children? I don't know about you guys, but I would rather a woman who knows that she doesn't want children from the get-go and then doesn't bring a child into the world, rather than a woman who carelessly brings a child into the world, knowing full well that she's not able to mother to the best of her ability, inflicting trauma on the child and adding to more problems. Now, I myself have expressed my issues with baby mum culture. However, I understand that ultimately it's a woman's choice, and in the video I made talking about black women's mortality rate, I did say that even if you are a woman who doesn't want to get married, at least ensure that the father of the child is willing to take care of you and the baby. The decision to have children is a personal choice, and I just don't feel like women should be made to feel as though they're the worst person in the world because she has yet to have children or get married at a certain age. Number 4, can we please stop stigmatizing divorce? In many cultures, even in the West, not just in the African culture, divorce is viewed with a heavy sense of shame. Going back to the point that I made earlier about marriage and having children being a fundamental aspect of African culture, this is why for many, divorce is not an option. For Africans, marriage is not just seen as a union between two people, it is seen as the joining of two families. Divorce is seen as a failure to keep up a marriage and family cohesion. Also, religion can somewhat play a role in shaping ideas about divorce. As far as I'm concerned, generally most Africans are either Christian or Muslim. Of course, both religions emphasize the importance of marriage, so of course, divorce is frowned upon. I personally feel like women who file for divorce are often judged more harshly because, like I said before, being a mother and a wife is expected of the woman. So, failure to uphold marital vows is looked upon with a sense of shame because it's seen as you not living up to your wifely duties. Women are expected to stay with their husbands no matter what, like I said before. So when they decide to prioritize their own sanity over staying in a marriage that doesn't benefit them, they face being criticized by other members of the family for not, quote, fighting for their marriage or being the reason that their children have to grow up in a broken home because, again, women who initiate divorce are seen as disruptors of the family unit. And because of the shame, many married couples may object to the idea of seeking help in the form of counselling, therapy, what have you, when faced with marital problems because of the stigma. It's important to recognise that divorce is a life-changing decision for those involved. It's a time for them to prioritise their own personal growth, and the parent that is left with the child, which more times than not is the mother, should be supported in particular in their journey. So anyway guys, thank you so much for listening. Now I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. This video would have been up a lot earlier, but there was a slight glitch. I normally take down notes when discussing certain topics so that I remember what I want to say on these videos. So I made 3 days worth of notes on my laptop, only for my dumb A to not save it. So as a result of the battery running out, my laptop switches off. So all of my notes disappeared. I don't think you guys understood the level of pain. But anyway guys, there's no point crying over spilt milk. I'm done now. I've completely finished the video, but let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Did you think the things I listed were toxic? Did you not think they were toxic? Was that the norm for you, so you're not really sure? Just let me know. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!